Waaagh! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Faster. I'm old Big Mek, and in this episode, we're doing something really different. We're getting in the speed wagon, and we're going on a field trip to the buggy! Ha ha ha! So we are at the toy show, and it's full of vintage toys. I don't know if we're going to see any actual Warhammer here, but are definitely going to find things we could turn into battle wagons. Let's see what there is. There's a battle wagon.
Yeah, it was definitely, in fact, I would say by and large it was.
Some are just by color, but some are like.
I'm still working my way up. I still have to get through Deep Space Nine, then I'll have everything.
I need to finish Deep Space Nine. I've only made about half of it.
Oh yeah, he was super hot.
That is cool.
It's familiar.
Well, that's it for the toy show. Only found one vendor that had actual Warhammer stuff, but I've found a bunch of cool things that you could have used to kit bash things. Did find somebody that does their own sculpting and got a little mini-use. I think we'll go home and paint them up. We stayed a little longer, but the power went out in the whole building, so kind of hard to look at anything when it's totally dark. Waaagh! Welcome back. We are back in the mech shop after going to the toy show. And while I didn't actually technically pick up anything at the toy show, I do have some things to show you that were there. I just happen to already own them. To give you ideas of things you can do when you go to places like that and find different things you can use for, you know, meching. One of which is a Gundam model. There were a lot of Gundam models there, and they do come in different scales. This particular one is 1/144th, which is pretty small for a Gundam, but when you actually look at it next to an Ork, pretty big size. These can be good bases for Def Dreads, Killicans, things like that. The bigger ones, you could start getting into Gorka Morkanaut territory. The hard part with these is they are pretty skinny, and you really got to kind of bulk them up a bit. One of the things that I do like with these, though, they have these weapon sprues with great big shields and ginormous guns and stuff. Now those are scaled much more appropriately for Warhammer because they're like overly gigantic for the Gundam kits. So Gundam kit's always worth a look. I believe this one was maybe $5, you know, so something like that you can get some good bits and some good bases for converting. Worth the teeth. Next one, and this one's really funny. This is called the Snark. This is a Cold War era intercontinental ballistic missile that they made a model kit out of. Now this is 1/48 scale, and as I've talked about in some of the other videos, that kind of scale is small for Warhammer. But this thing is so ginormous that the missile kind of works. It's just the people are a bit weebly. In fact, here's a guardsman, right? And there's a 1/48 scale guy there. And yeah, you can see he's a bit taller than the guardsman. But yeah, so I could totally use this for an Imperial Guard thing. It would look pretty cool. Or an Ork thing. In fact, I've been saving this for an Ork thing for a while. I've been wanting to put, like, you know, Ork style truck wheels and stuff on there, and then have like a grot inside there and put a bunch of bombs and stuff on it and make some sort of crazy intercontinental grot missile, right? So this kit, it's a vintage kit, but they just got reprinted and re-released new, and so They're only like 30 or 40 bucks new, and you can find them at places like Michael's or whatever that have the coupons. But that means that the vintage ones like these are basically worthless because the new kit's going to have like new decals and things like that. So you could pick these up at like a model show for not much money. Like I said, I want to say this one was like 5 or 10 bucks too. Moving on. While we're still talking about model kits, because most of the stuff there that was useful was model kits. This is a 1/48 scale MiG-15, which is a Soviet-era jet. And you can see the fuselage size here is nearly identical to the Ork fighter bomber. I have my suspicions that the original fighter bombers were modeled off of one of these even. But yeah, that is another great kit. Especially with like the DACA jet, because you get all the wings and only one fuselage in this kit. So getting yourself a cheap kit that you can put the other wings and all the other bits onto, this is totally going to look orky when you're done, and it's already the right size for, again, not much money. As far as anything else at the show that would have been worthwhile, the G.I. Joe vehicles tend to be like a really good size for battle wagons and stuff. There was one there that I was really interested in. But, you know, it was a little bit of a collector value thing where I think he wanted like 35 bucks for it or something, which compared to what is a battle wagon these days, like 110, right? You know, probably worth it. I got enough projects at the moment, but it was fun to go and look around. It was fun to get ideas. It definitely got some wheels turning. One of the things that was actually most intriguing was there was a lot of people there with like 3D printed things, but only one guy that did design work. So he actually designs all of his own things, and then you can even commission him for things. And that got some wheels turning in old Big Mek's head. So maybe we'll see where that goes in the future. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this that little foray. I went in blind. I had no idea how much Warhammer stuff was going to be. I did go to the show last year, but it was the very first one, and they said this year was going to be like double the size. And I was like, oh, you know, maybe it'd be something cool to get. And I knew that we'd see kind of some cool things, and we did. And we did find a couple of Warhammer books and things like that. But, you know, it's certainly worth the 5 teeth that it costs to go and check that out. So thanks for going along the field trip with us. Really appreciate it. And until next time, Waaagh on!